All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for the final time today to the English coverage of Beyond the Summits tournament, the Summit EU series. This is going to be game 2 of Vega versus Team Alternate Attacks. Vega were able to take game 1 off of a back of a very nice Drow Storm strategy. This time, Drow banned out first by Vega Squadron, not letting ATX get their paws on that. Instead, they're going to go for the Bat Rider Ogre combo. Lots of utility right there. Bat Rider still potentially could be used as that lifestealer vessel going in for that big bomb strat. Ogre, a really nice lane support. He's just so survivable. He can go up, he can be a bully, he can play far forward because his base regen's kind of absurd. And now they're going to pick up a Dazzle as well. So lots of sustain, lots of heal coming out of alternate attacks. They're ready to push. They're ready to get in there. They've got that Bloodlust. They've got Dazzle keeping everyone healthy on the back lines. But that's a really nice pick up there. The Ancient Apparition. That's a big pause button. That means no more healing, no regenning if that Ice Blast latches. The problem is getting Ancient Apparition to a point where he has his ult, perhaps even has an Aghanim Scepter where he's able to make an impact, because he can be so poor if he's not handled properly, if he doesn't get the farm that he needs. Now, we are racing through this draft. Outworld Devour is going to be the pickup for alternate attacks. Most likely going to be their mid laner, although I have seen some of the EU teams run that in the safe lane and picking up a more traditional mid. But either way, I don't think they're going to get that greedy. I think Outworld is going to be that mid. Hopefully Exotic Deer can get a lot out of that. It does scale up well into the late game. Vega Squadron look like they can scale up pretty well as well. Juggernaut, we've seen a bunch of times today just being a killing machine. He gets his items. He's going to be going most likely for a fighting build rather than a hard farming build. If he wants to get the Battle Fury, I worry that it'll set him back just a little bit too far, and OD can really punish an under-farmed Juggernaut. And Mirana, of course, just going to be going in, hopefully grabbing a very quick Ags. If she's mid lane, though, Mirana up against an OD, that's pretty scary unless Mirana's got a dedicated support. All she has to do is get astraled once. Yeah, the leap can bail her out a little bit, but I don't know. It's still pretty tough to survive as a Mirana up against a big hero like that, especially if there's rotations in from the Ogre, if Dazzle's constantly there, keeping the OD, full health, full mana. So now last picks coming out. The final ban, ATX get the Centaur banned against them. That's going to be one of those heroes that's picked up a bit more frequently than we've seen in the past. Alternate attacks, I don't think, are still looking for an offlaner. Perhaps Vega are reading this as safe lane OD mid bat, and they are looking for an offlaner, but I think it's more likely going to be the offlane bat mid OD looking for a safe. So we'll see what they're going to pick up for their last pick. But first, there's going to be the Sand King ban up against Vega. Just all around a great hero. Lots of nuke damage. Epicenter, Burrow Strike just coming in. Easy ways to close the gaps. And Vega Squadron, they don't really want to deal with that. They don't want to get caught out unaware. They want to keep their backline at the back. They want to have their frontliners be able to be the ones eating the damage. So we'll see what they're going to be doing here for last picks.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright, dipping into the reserve time for the final pick here. Again, not surprised. I'm assuming we're going to see a safe laner. It's going to be that Faceless Void played in the position 1. Definitely a big fan of that. Hopefully it's going to be in Faye's hands. Seems to match his playstyle pretty well. Just going, clearing large numbers of creeps, not wanting to participate before he's effectively farmed up. And the Chronospheres are going to be really nice pace setters because ATX kind of last game, they had this constant, we can fight at any time. But there's not a whole lot to base the fights around. This time you've got the Chrono. It's a clear initiation point. There's going to be clear targets within the Chrono, and there's lots of follow-up from outside. Bat Rider can be, flame breaking, applying napalm. OD can be getting ready to drop the Sanity's Eclipse. There's a lot of team fight wombo combo on ATX, and Nyx Assassin picked up for Vega Squadron. Nyx was pretty successful last game. We'll have to see how it goes up against this crew. Not a whole lot of easy snipes. I mean, Dazzle, unless you kill him in one blow, he's got the Grave. Bat Rider, he's relatively squishy, but should be able to path himself out of trouble with that Firefly. Ogre and Void and OD, I mean, they're just incredibly tanky once they get a decent amount of farm and levels. So Vega might have a bit of trouble, especially going late against this lineup. I think Vega have got to get what they can get done ASAP before the OD starts to scale, because he just goes hella crazy once you hit that 30-minute mark. Alright, so moving in, we've got our ceremonial pause to start things off as everyone loads in, but we can go ahead and introduce our teams here. We are going to have Kangor being played by Dazzle. Wow. Other way around. Either way, Faye on the Faceless Void. It is going to be Lisa on the Ogre Magi, Exotic Deer on the OD, and finally Nisha on the Bat Rider. On the side of Vega Squadron, we have got FN playing that Juggernaut. It's going to be Iceberg on Marana. FNG is going to be on the Ancient Apparition. Seema is on the Kunkka, and finally Mag on that Sneaky Nyx Assassin. So there's some question marks going on the map. I think a little Bat Rider is saying what we're all thinking. Now the G comes out. We are ready to roll in with our final match of the day. Again, this is game number 2 of a best of 2 series on the BTS Summit EU Championship. Oh no, we're waiting. Never mind. FNG's got stuff to take care of. So yeah, I think ATN have a very, very good chance at this game. They played very well last game. Vega eventually just overran them. The Drow strat got enough momentum. Storm Spirit wasn't shut down as effectively as needed to be. There was really good mid play, but once he got his level 6, Storm just kind of went out of control at one point, having like 25, 26 Bloodstone charges. So, again, just waiting for everyone to sort out their stuff so we can get started with these games. I'm your caster, Annie, aka AnneeDroid. Happy to be working with Beyond the Summit once again. They're the ones that really got me started with the whole, step up into casting thing with DPL cast. And either way, glad to be working with them again. Coming straight out of the Moonduck Studios, but yeah, this game's more fun. Alright, we've got some pretty neat mini-map doodles going down. Let's see if Faceless Void can really shade the entire map in orange. Faye is going to give it his best shot. I'd say he's at like 20% orange right now. Alright, so in terms of positioning, we're going to see not too much that's interesting. Mag going to be taking up that off-lane Nyx position. Seema on the support Kunkka. Lots of rotations. Can punish mid very effectively. FNG here is going to be the wild card. Can he get enough experience on the AA? I mean, he can survive with minimal farm, minimal last hits, but he's really got to get himself, boots, a couple of smokes, at his level 6. That's going to be huge. Alright, there we go. Smoke's picked up all around the board. TP is out every which way. And we're going to start the action here.
May your doom be averted.
So both teams trying to be a little bit sneaky. We've got some decent vision coming out here. FNG picking up those sentries. Got the observer wards already. And Mag sitting back. He's got himself the regen and the poor man's shield, so anticipating taking a lot of damage, buying out completely, and just going to be rotating around, seeing what he can find down here. It's a pretty cool Nyx that he's got himself some little red pincers. Either way, Dazzle moving in, has got those center wards at the ready, anticipating laning against the offlane Nyx, so shouldn't be that difficult to shut him down once he gets that Vendetta.
30 seconds to battle.
Alright, we'll see how Vega are going to scale up. This Juggernaut is going to be starting out 8 tangos and the Stout Shield, so once again, anticipating taking a lot of damage, wanting to be up in the wave, up against what can be a very harassy offlaner. Assuming it's going to be the Bat up here, played by Nisha. Just lots of stacks of Napalm, lots of walking through Firefly, but Jug should be able to weather the storm. Again, he's got that Blade Fury, so Flame Break won't be that much of an issue. Runes are going to go for a 1-1 split. No action just yet. We might see a bit more of an active game than we're used to, though, just because of the potential for Vega to start things out early. They want their level 6 on the Nyx. They want their Marana to get the Aghanim Scepter, but after that, it's just going to be go, go, go. Now up in the top lane, Bat is going to be going. He's got that Firefly pull burning down the wave. He can just drag it to the creep wave back here. He might be in some trouble, as he is going to get run on. The Ancient Apparition as well as the Kunkka are at the ready. There is going to be the Torrent coming in. We'll see if Nisha's gonna fall victim to that as FNG tries to go into Torrent. Does not connect. The cold feet gonna be disjointed as well as Nisha just keeps on flapping. So 2 heroes occupied right now as Nisha just gets out completely scot-free. Even stopping to try to pick up a little bit of farm along the way. Another Torrent dodged. This Bat Rider is just reading the Kunka's mind like, whoa, there will be another cold feet attempt. So basically all of AA's mana is gone to no avail as he doesn't catch out Nisha, just does a little bit of tick damage that he can easily heal up with a tango or two. Now Mag gonna fall victim again to that early point in poison touch. I love when Tassels grab that up level 1 because it makes your safe laner's life so much easier here. Faye doesn't have to worry a gosh darn bit about Mag coming in and impaling him and trying to take his farm. He can just sit back and last hit to his heart's content. Well, unless he DCs, that is. Hopefully this won't be too long of a pause, just fixing some settings or whatnot. Now mid lane, our matchup's going to be that Mirana versus OD. A pretty typical matchup here, definitely classic mids. Exotic Deer is going to be able to do a decent amount of harass damage to Iceberg, but if Iceberg's execution's on point, I mean, he can absolutely get what he needs to out of the lane and get an early ags and just kind of leave, let OD do whatever he wants and not have to deal with that club of the outhouse decorator. Alright, looks like we are hopefully ready. Moving in. As soon as the void's all set, gonna go ahead and unpause and continue the action. Alright. So again, the wild card being this ancient apparition, still sitting at level 1.5, but being allowed to take a decent amount of this experience from this side pull. You've got to get AA that level 6. Hopefully Nisha doesn't contest too much of this farm. As long as the AA gets the levels out of it, it's all good. But yeah, again, if this is AA getting like a 15-minute level 6, there's some serious trouble for Vega. But if they are able to get that early Ice Blast, I think they can definitely have control over these team fights. Now wrap around here, Exotic Deer could be in some trouble. There is going to be a Torrent. It will not connect. Seema's having a lot of trouble with these Torrents. Fairy Fire eaten up, but the arrow secures the first blood. Iceberg not holding back, just unleashing it all his mana, all his health spent on that kill, but totally worth it as he gets a pretty decent bounty and forces the OD to be a little bit behind in terms of lane farm.
Radiant's tower is under attack.
Alright, so again, they are going to have the Ogre Magi rotating in the mid lane, realizing that Iceberg is a threat. Iceberg is not afraid to play dirty and go for those point-blank arrows. So maybe with a little bit of babysitting here, the OD can get a bit more out of the lane. The Invis rune about to expire, so they've got to make something happen now or it's not going to happen at all. Now, interesting start from the Ogre Magi. He opts to go with a point in Bloodlust as his very first skill. Very typically we see Ignite if it's going to be more of a lane-oriented Ogre, but I guess this time he just wants to be able to go help his teammates at level 2. We should see him pick up the Ignite, unless he really wants that reliable stun. There he goes, just spraying out that hot garbage. Iceberg leaping back, making sure there's no follow-up. But for right now, OD content to keep going. He's got those 2 points in Astral. So if things get real, he does have that safety bubble he can hop into. He can take Mirana out, but gosh, again, just going to be A-okay. Now Mag, he's hit his level 3. He's got that point in Spiked Carapace, so if Poison Touch gets a little bit too real, he can always just stun the Dazzle up and maybe try to re-engage. Now mid lane, speaking of engaging, the Ogre Magi will be picked off. 3 heroes rotating through. Exotic Deer could be in some trouble, but they are going to bring in the Dazzle for some heal, and there is going to be no point-blank arrow as there's just not enough mana on the Mirana. So it's going to be a 1 for 0. Ogre's not the worst casualty, but this lane is still going so well for Iceberg. Now 2-0 at the 3-minute mark. Alright, so looks like the Ogre trying to get a little bit close here, keeping Mag harassed. Mag has had a really tough time finding a whole lot of farm. Only 4 last hits to his name at this point. Will Faceless Void's raking him in. 27 now going forward. Now there is going to be that Spike Carapace available. Mag wants to hold off to the last possible moment. Uses his mana instead to go for the Impale and will allow for his escape. Now up top we are going to see an initiation here. Seema's burning down. He's got a zillion napalm stacks on him, and it looks like he is just going to be hitting the deck once again. And Juggernaut walking back is Nisha, showing some power, putting HD on the board right now, but not really able to contest the Juggernaut's farm. He's going to be 33 last hits, leading the charts, and Batrider, I mean, there's not a whole lot he can do. He's only got that combo once in a while, still 15 seconds cooldown on the Firefly, so it's not like he could just stack up onto the Juggernaut. Juggernaut can spin through it anyway. Now mid lane, back to that duel situation. You got the bloodlusted ogre trying to do his best, but Mirana, I mean, she's just been doing really well. A little bit outlast heading Exotic Deer, not by a huge margin, but there's the point blank arrow once again, just unloading onto Exotic Deer. May have to back off. One more arrow would have done the trick, but the dazzle rotating in to heal him up means no more kills for Iceberg. At least for now, but definitely keeping this OD on his toes. He can't get up, he can't farm right now, just barely sitting in XP range. So you gotta be very, very aware of the fact that this Mirana is just ready to jump at any opportunity that he's given. Alright, there is gonna be the Kunkka walking in, trying to help out. Does have that mana flowing, and there is going to be a torrent available. Unfortunately, the torrents haven't exactly been A++ in this game so far, but things could always change as there is going to be a rotation in onto the Batrider. Juggernaut doesn't have enough mana for the Omni Slash, eats up the Mango. There's going to be the mana. The torrent finally lifts, and there's the Omni debut. One more hit means the Batrider does go down. Now FN could be in a little bit of trouble as the Ogre rotates through, but Ogre isn't able to find anything, just goes for the self-bloodlust and back into the wave. Alright, Faceless Void still sitting at level 5, doesn't have that ult just yet, so not getting as much XP as the top laner just because of the trial lane going on. Ancient Apparition picked up level 4, so getting a decent amount just because of these side pulls, because of these stacks into the small camp. Hopefully that level 6 is going to mean that Juggernaut can really start to do some work. Go in, Ice Blast up the Faceless Void, Ice Blast up the OD, and then you've got those very slippery kills that are pretty much handed to you because they just can't reach, and your Dazzle becomes a little bit useless. Yeah, he can Grave, but once you get that Shatter point, it's all Gucci. Now, looks like Nisha wanting to start something off, does not have that lasso, is level 6 but holding off. Not going to be grabbing it just yet. Could be going in for that drums bat build, going for the drums before he leaves lane, before he relies on lasso for that lockdown. OD finally grabbing up those boots for himself. Again, in terms of last hits, sitting a little bit behind the Mirana, but Mirana's doing exceptionally well. It's not that the OD is performing poorly, it's that Iceberg's playing kind of out of his mind this game. He's 2-0 in the laning phase, already has the point booster on top of Aquila, brown boots, and a bottle. I mean, he's just farming super effectively in terms of overall net worth, going to be 3rd on the chart. Juggernaut is going to be leading the charge. He's got himself the makings for a Yasha, which is going to turn into a nice early Manta for some very, very early fighting. And Mirana filling up that bottle, gonna make 3 of herself, ready to fight. Meanwhile, speaking of fighting up top, unfortunately, this Icicle is about to get melted. Oh, with a cold feet though, it procs onto Nisha. There's gonna be no Omni Slash, 2 seconds, 1 second. Oh, Ancient Apparition finally does fall to the TP out from the bat, but he does end up going down. FN is able to avenge his support, still at a very steep cost there, as AA was so close to that crucial level 6. Alright, now Ping's out here. Radiant know that the Kunkka is nearby. He's only level 3. He spent a lot of time rotating, but hasn't actually been able to find the kills and find the levels that he so crucially needs. Alright, Ancient Apparition getting a little bit of solo XP in the lane. Really looking forward to getting that Ice Blast online. Should be just a wave or two until he's able to do that. So there's going to be another smoke. He's looking to really debut things with his team. Once he gets that 6, group up, get ready to fight. You've got the Jug Omni Slash online once again. He's going to go clear out the jungle. Mid lane, Mirana could be in a little bit of trouble, taking some serious damage from that Outworld Devourer, but still getting out alive. Again, drinking up the bottle, getting what she needs to, and gonna be getting close to that Ag. She's about halfway there already. Nyx Assassin has found that level 7, but hasn't opted to debut the Vendetta yet, holding on to it until it's either necessary for escape or initiation. He could be grouping up with his team fairly shortly, but for now, I mean, he's getting pretty decent farm in lane. The Faceless Void is getting a lot out of this as well. Gonna be second on the net worth chart, holding on to that early Perseverance, so gonna be that early Linken's build. Now up top, Batrider just eats the Torrent. They're not even gonna have to spend any big spells for him. He's gonna freeze in place. The Cold Feet proc does work, and that's gonna be level 6 for Ancient Apparition. He's still holding on to that Ice Blast. We'll see if he wants to unleash it on this mid ogre that's making Iceberg's life a little bit testy. Overall momentum, it looks like overall XP is going to be slightly in favor of Vega, net worth even more so. So that means there's items, there's just gold stacking up in favor of the Dire. Their heroes are getting what they need to, particularly this Mirana. Early Ags is so crucial for the damage of this team. I mean, your Juggernaut's great at holding his own and team fighting, but Mirana's going to be the one to burst down very, very obnoxious heroes like the OD, like the Faceless Void. Now, there's a big smoke up here. FN is holding on to the Omni. He's got himself that Yasha. No completed Banta yet, but if they can actually tease out spells from this Void, it might be worthwhile to rotate all the way down. He's used his Time Walk. Can they wrap around? Looks like they're just going to be going, trying to cut the wave, trying to force out perhaps a Chronosphere, because again, there is going to be that Ice Blast to follow up if necessary. Torrent connects. Arrow gonna be eaten by Nisha. I don't think they can really follow up for this. The Faceless Void comes out. Seema the Slayer is gonna get trapped in the Chronosphere along with the Juggernaut. Iceberg though, he's outside. He's dropping the Starstorm. Look at that bat get low. Seema gonna get very, very low. Should end up dropping down. Kunka does end up going out. And now Exotic Deer goes with the Self-Imprisonment, trying to take off some of that damage. Nisha is gonna get stunned up. Can they actually connect onto the bat? There's the Sanity's Eclipse doing a ton of work. Everyone getting low, but no one dropping just yet. Iceberg wants to get this kill onto the Void. Should be able to do so. There's going to be the Omni on the back lines as well. Oh, the Juggernaut, he gets low, but he's still alive, still fighting, still looking for Nisha there. Flame Break reveals the Batrider. Looks like there is going to be the Impale off the mark, but he is just stuck between a rock and a hard place. Look how low everyone is. Ancient Apparition, Juggernaut, Nyx, they all end up alive, and they get 4 kills out of this. Gonna get a tower as well. That went just about as well as Vega could have hoped. Everyone just skirting around, playing with danger, but ATN not able to actually round up the kills there.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
After that team fight, it looks like there is going to be a very sharp lead for Vega, picking up a lot of grounds in terms of overall levels. Just checking out what's going on here. Jug and Mirana both have their level 2 ultis. That's going to be really important. The difference between a level 1 Omni Slash and level 2 is pretty significant in terms of overall damage, overall impact in these team fights. And Void, Bat, OD, they are still hanging on to their level 1 ults. They have got a long way to go before they're catching up in terms of experience here. Now Mirana has that Aghanim Scepter just about complete. Needs 200 more gold for that. And that's going to be online and rockin'. Another Ice Blast coming through. Should connect onto the Dazzle. I mean, not going to kill him, but at least keeping him on his toes. Going to have to waste some of those wand charges, go ahead and heal himself, burn some of that mana. So definitely not an ideal position for ATN right now. Vega definitely coming online. Perhaps they're playing on a timer, though. I mean, Mirana can scale pretty nicely, so can Jug, but late game OD gets really, really scary. Same story with the Void.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Alright, Ice Blast coming in. Small radius, not going to connect on anyone. Iceberg just squirting out arrows from left and right. Not really a clear trajectory on that one. Ogre going to take a quick knee right now, but it looks like Vega in a good position. If they want to push, now is the time to do so. They've got their momentum going for themselves. The Mirana Ag's going to be online very, very, very shortly. And now it's time to push, to really exert that pressure. Combine that with a Jug Omni Slash in another 10 seconds. I really think this is time for Vega to push, to try to get as much advantage as they can. Because if they hang on, if they just kind of stall out, I mean, we saw that happen in Game 1 of F5 versus VP earlier today. One team had a huge advantage and wanted to push, but just played so passively and kept farming. And eventually, the other team came back, and it was just this big stalemate of no one actually wanting to take the fights, just wanting to continue farming, continue pushing. So there are going to need to be some big fights breaking out, perhaps around the first Roshan. Not too distant of a dream for this Juggernaut. He should be able to rotate into the pit and go in fairly shortly. He opts to go for the Sanj and Yasha rather than the early Manta. I think it's a smart choice, just some nice overall stats. It's kind of that in-between item. When you go Manta, you're fighting early, you're pushing early. When you go Battle Fury, you're saving yourself for late game, you're getting a lot of farm, you're staying in lane, you're not really scaling up as effectively as you could be in that like 20 to 30 minute mark. But again, the Sanj Yasha, he can now fight with his team if he wants to. He can push, he can get a lot of gold and scale up pretty quickly. He's already got 1100 gold on top of it. So we'll have to see what's going down. Again, overall net worth is going to be pretty heavily in favor of Vega. They've got themselves the Juggernaut and the Mirana leading the chart. Faceless Void still needs more time to come on. He's going for the early Lincoln's build, but still decent amount of gold away. Still has to get that ultimate orb and the recipe. So again, everyone just sitting waiting patiently. Nyx Assassin sitting on that Vendetta. It looks like he could be wrapping around through the river. Vendetta up, maybe trying to initiate onto Faye or the Ogre Magi. Both good choices here, both great initiation targets. Meanwhile, Juggernaut continues to get a lot of space here. The Batrider, he's been really effective in terms of fighting with his team. He's got his team 2 kills, but 5 deaths in lane is pretty excessive at this point. Looks like he is going to be saving for the Blink Dagger, not going to stop to finish off the drums. He picked up the early Windlace and didn't get his ult at level 6, scaled it at level 7 instead, but I think he's kind of abandoned the dream of really early drums. He needs to get that Blink to have the most effect with his team. Alright, here we go. Hopefully there's no more lag for the Ogre Magi. Internet problems have been the bane of our existence this morning on the Summit Series EQ. Mirana getting that Aghanim Scepter just as fast as the courier can fly to her. All the other components are being brought in right now, and that's going to be a huge go point. I think you combine with the Nyx Assassin, you get the AA ready to unload. You head bottom under the cover of the Moonlight Shadow in 10 seconds, and this Void, oh, he's looking awfully tasty right now. If they can get the jump on him, fantastic. The problem is his time walk is so obnoxious. The nuke damage from Mirana is instantaneous, so he's able to very, very quickly get away. There's going to be the stun, though. Can they keep him locked down for long enough? The arrow's got a latch. He's going to be walking his way out of that Ice Blast, just like we feared. Now the arrow, it's got to be doing a hero's job. A little bit of a quirky torrent. Not going to connect on him, but there we go. Iceberg's debut of the Aghanim Scepter Starstorm will do enough to take out the Void. Forces 2 rotations as well, and as long as everyone from Vega gets out, definitely worthwhile. Moonlight Shadow wrapping around, maybe looking for some sort of reinitiation onto this Ogre, onto the OD Iceberg. Oh, he's feeling it. He knows he wants to go for that point blank arrow onto the OD, following up. The Ice Blast, unfortunately, going to be a little bit late. And now there is going to be some mad pings coming out. Everyone's a little bit scared. The arrow is going to skirt right on through, but look at this OD drop! There's going to be this Shallow Grave popped out by the Dazzle. You can tell that FN just wants to jump in with that Omni Slash, but knows he won't be able to reap any rewards. Lots of spells being teased out from Vega, but in the end, it does mean they are able to secure a tower without much pressure from ATN. Over here, we've got Mag blocking Anisha. There is going to be a TP back from the Mirana. Can they hold the bat in place long enough? Hell yeah! There's an arrow dropping down. Kills all over the map as Ogre Magi picked up. Batrider picked off. This is looking real good for Vega. They're gaining momentum in terms of net worth, tipping towards 10,000 now in their favor. Similar story in terms of XP. And over on levels, I mean, you've got your Juggernaut and your Mirana still with their level 2 ultis and Void. I mean, he's just really trying to crank out that level 11, but it's slow going. Next assassin, he's probably saving up for some goodies now, although just going straight for the Aghanim Scepter again. Not gonna grab that Blink Dagger up. Again, unusual for the next assassins I have seen, but it seems to be working out remarkably well now. Faces Void, he's trying to get some of that HP back, but he's still going to be ticking kind of low. He's Frosty, the arrow just barely scrapes him in the side of the head. And now it looks like Dazzle doing his best to keep the pressure up. Iceberg comes in, drops the base. There we go, Dazzle should end up getting procced by the cold feet. Stunned up behind the tower, there's nothing anyone can do. Kills all over the board, his top lane. Juggernaut takes out the OD as well. Doesn't even have to commit the Omni Slash. This is just going phenomenally in Vega's favor. I talked about the potential for ATN to scale up nicely into the late game. Well, in order for that to happen, ATN heroes have to live to the late game, and it's not looking very good. 3-16. It's a pretty rough kill score, especially with this many towers crumbling this quickly, with this much net worth starting to spiral in Vega's favor. It seems like this could be a quick one. So Batrider sitting back, finally able to fly out his Blink Dagger. That's going to be a nice little component for him. If he can get a lasso onto the Mirana, onto the Juggernaut, these high value targets, great. But the problem is there's so much backup. Kunkka with crazy control. What was that? Dust? Ogre. Get a little scared there, buddy? Well, either way. Dust down. But yeah, there's a lot of high value targets that you want to get on Vega, but there's so much control. Nyx can just go impale you, Kunkka can torrent you, Mirana can arrow you. It seems like if you choose a target, if you're ATN, the rest of Vega are going to punish you. So it's got to be this full collaborative effort, this 5-on-1 strategy, which is so difficult to execute when ATN are so far behind. Up top, we've got Iceberg. Moonlit shadowed up. I don't think they can actually secure the kill on the Void here. It's very, very tough. There is going to be that nice little Ice Blast coming through, but not going to latch. Meanwhile, mid, they're trying to tease out something. They're trying to force someone to be out of position. They're trying to force someone to be just a little bit too far forward. They are going to bring in the Faceless Void, leaping out, trying to clear the bottom lane, but mid, I mean, you've still got heroes farming up, doing really, really well. Ancient Apparition, not even too far off from his level 2 ulti. Juggernaut, he's ready. He's got that Omni. He wants to jump, and there is going to be no more Light Shadow available for a decent amount of time, so they've got to make something happen now. There's the Kunkka's X, so we can just go in, start to farm, but drag back to safety, not having to worry about anything. If OD reacted quick enough, maybe the Astral could have taken, but the Magic Immune spin makes things pretty difficult. Oh, the arrow latches onto Faceless Void that keep him locked down. Can he actually leap away? No. The time walk not going to be allowed there as Mag is just totally in control, lands the Impale. This is just getting ugly here as Juggernaut's able to take out the Dazzle in the mid lane, looking for the push. Every single lane is hurting, every lane controlled by Vega. We're going to see Mag underneath the center board go invis, but I don't think there were any eyes on that as there just weren't any Radiant creeps around. FN uncontested, wailing away at this tower, the rest of his team waiting in the wings. Now there is going to be vision onto this ward, this creep starting to poke away at it, but I mean, it's just looking so easy for Vega. Again, almost a 20,000 net worth lead at 20 minutes in the game. When you hit that 1,000 net worth lead per minute, that's virtually GG in every situation. Alright, so itemization for the Radiant, it's definitely a tough situation. I like this YOLO smoke attempt. I think it's what they have to be doing, but the Dire, they are all over this. They know there's going to be a rotation coming back in. Juggernaut, he reveals himself, reveals the entire team, goes for the Omni Slash, and he's going to be able to get a kill. He's godlike here. There's going to be an Ice Blast coming back in. The Ogre can't do shit about it. Oh god, there's the Dream Chrono. 4 heroes, hell, FNG walks in to give him a 5-hero chrono, but it's still a team wipe in the other way. Two heroes are beyond godlike, the Mirana and the Jug on the side of Vega. I think this just might be time for ATN to cut their losses because these guys have just found their swing. They are in their groove. It's only 21 minutes in, but they are feeling absolutely unstoppable right now. Fantastic playing from Vega, but gosh, if you're ATN, you gotta be so salty. That chrono was near perfection. The problem was just no follow-up damage. And Juggernaut, he's got himself a full completed Silver Edge, so he's sneaky, he's mean, he's gonna keep doing that move where he Silver Edges up, Kunkka X's him, he walks really far forward, unleashes his damage, and just gets dragged back to safety. Now FN, he knows exactly what he's capable of doing here. Look how quickly Iceberg can rip apart tanky heroes like the Ogre Magi. Now Mirana gonna be coming out of this. The Rax is long gone, Void has no chrono, and the GG called out as ATN just want to stop the hurting, put a tourniquet on and prevent the bleeding, because this is insane. Vega played out of their minds this game. Fantastic performance from both the Juggernaut and especially Iceberg mid Mirana. What a treat. Whew! Thank you guys so much for watching this. This is going to be a best of 2 series now concluded with Vega taking a clean 2-0 over Team Alternate Attacks. Hope you guys enjoyed the casting. Again, I'm still a relatively new caster. Annie, aka AnneeDroid, if you want to check me out on Twitch or Twitter, always open to feedback. So again, have a great rest of your day, guys. That's going to conclude it for this channel at this time, but tune in tomorrow, same place, same time for more Summit EU. See y'all later.